Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all glory, honors, and praises to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim Rakak Wadash, the Wadi Yah, Bahashim Yahushai. I'm the brother Thahawam, and I was just starting, just thinking about, contemplating on things, always having like the days return, always having more dreams, but visions and stuff like that, and always in my mind is the comfort is the Lord controls everything, and no matter what happens, the Lord, the elect will make it. Some are going to be martyrs, but it's all for a time that the elect shall be saved and inherit the kingdom, and the kingdom is going to be for Israel. So being an Israelite, it's a golden ticket, and Lord willing, I am of the elect. So I want to start this lesson off with 2nd Ezra chapter 9. He answered me and said, "Measure thou time diligently in itself, and when thou seest parts of the signs past, which I have told thee before." Which, what do we see? What are we seeing now? We're seeing craziness happen. We're seeing that they're pushing the narrative. They're trying to make a man an offender for a word in Isaiah. They're causing the rifts between people. Like you see now, the Satan against Satan is completely on against each other. A Democrat and Republican. That was your fault. No, Trump. See, but which are the signs past, which I have told you before. The Lord told us this. He told us all these. So I can bear with me. Matthew chapter 24, verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, kingdoms against kingdoms. There shall be famines and pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. The beginning of sorrows is also goes into it. Second Ezra, the 16th chapter. This app sometimes is stupid, so I'm just... Woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 17. So this is when Ezra was crying about to the Lord. The beginning of sorrows and great mourning, the beginning of famines and great death, the beginning of wars, and the power shall stand against fear, beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? Behold, famine and plagues, tribulation and anguish are sent as a scorn for amendment. So all these things is for a score to an amendment. The Lord sent it so to show us these times and these times that like, it's time to get ready. We see these prophecies going, see the beginning of sorrows, but we should get ready. We should get ready. It's coming, and then it's coming, and it's our alarm clock. All of these things, they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful for scourges. So I was gonna go into something else, but you know how the spirit works. So, but beloved, this is Second Peter chapter 3, verse 8. But beloved, be not ignorant of one thing, or one day, that the Lord is 1,000 years, and 1,000 years as one day. So the Lord told us, but like it seems like it took long. But one day to the Lord One day to the Lord, it's 1,000 years. But the Lord is not slack concerning his promise. And that's what I go back into Matthew 24, that some men count slackness, but long suffering to usward, not willing that any should perish, but that all men should come to repentance. But they're not. They're not going to come to repentance. So this is why. So this was a scorn for an amendment for all men to come, but the Lord always had the elect be saved. But for all these things they shall not turn from the wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good, cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Even then shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion. So you see people dying out. I know judgments going out as never before, but you can still go to McDonald's. You bugged out, but you can still go to McDonald's and get a meal roughly cheap, probably like be full with $6, $5. And go in like Jack in the Box. You can get like 4 orders of tacos, be full, feeling good, like I can still eat. And even homeless men are still eating. You're not seeing people starve to death. So they'd be like, and even all these earthquakes and the sword, famine is going out on a new level here. But people, it's cheap. For many shall dwell upon the earth and shall perish of famine, and others shall escape the hunger and shall be destroyed by the sword. This is going to happen, but that's what the crazy part is. Even all these things happen, even as the Lord said, this is what the Lord, going back to Matthew 24, because I didn't finish the point. Beginning of sorrow, then shall deliver you up affliction, shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my sake. So what is this ye thing happening? These Kanye, they're setting up a narrative for the beginning of sorrows instead of them people getting right. They're like, hey, the S word, and saying, oh, we're fighting because you can't even say it. So now all nations are hate, like, yeah, he's spreading out hate speech. And many shall be offended and shall betray one another and shall hate one another. This is going. And false prophets shall arise and shall deceive many. But if it was possible, so all these people, look at this thing, as this all the elders are saying, that this is probably setting up this yeet thing to deceive these people that are not truly grounded in, I don't want to take this pain and all that stuff, so they're going to go back. It's not going to go back into Christianity, they go back into the world. But for their show, I've dropped down to 24, they'll show arise false Mashiach and false prophet, and they shall show signs and wonders ever so much. If it were possible, they shall even deceive the very elect. But they can. Because the Lord said, my elect. And if you were wondering what the elect is, just to edify, Lord willing, being that number, that's the greatest goal. But they were already set forth at the beginning. This is Isaiah chapter 45, verse 4. For Jacob my servant and Israel my elect have I called thee by thy name, and I have surnamed thee, though they have not known me. That's the elect. That's for edification purposes. But Slovakia, I have a quick scripture. This is Romans chapter 11, verse 4. But what said the answer of God unto him? I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed their knee to the image of Baal. So these are the sea hip. They're not gonna go through this Babylonian way. They're gonna stand bold for the Heavenly Father. That's just some of the characteristics they're gonna be doing. Even so, in the present time, they're also a remnant according to the election of grace. That's what these elect is. A remnant according to the election of grace. And by grace, there is no more of works, otherwise, grace, no more grace. But if it be of works, then it shall no more grace, otherwise, works is no more works. This is going on point, but we're just saying that they're not going to really, they're going to be showing their faith by their works, but they're not getting saved by the works. And see, that's probably difficult to you, but what then? Israel have not attained what ye have seeked for, but the election have attained it, and the rest were blinded. So we have full understanding of this, because to the Lord put a different spirit on them. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 24. As his ways are plain unto the holy, so are they stumbling blocks unto the wicked. It's like, so, because you might say, if we're not saved by works, I'm not going to do anything. No. Prove yourself, prove your faith by your works. But you also, you're going to, it was put and programmed in their mind to do it and to be, because they were always, from the beginning of earth, set forth. You were with me from the beginning to serve the Lord. This is 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 8. Henceforth there is laid up a crown for me, a crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, shall give to me at that day. Paul, but unto all them also that loves his appearing. That's what it's going to be. The ones that love, and they're going to show their faith by their works. All right, get back in there. But so all this time has happened, and everything, therefore be uprooted, and then shall thou well understand. Well, it's plain unto the holy, but the Most High spoke of those things from the day that was before thee, even from him the beginning. Let me just drop down. Salakia. And then he said, drop down to, I have said before thee, now ye speak, and will speak also hereafter, that there will be many more that of them which perish than they which are be saved. So all these situations, all these things that are going to happen, Jacob's trouble is going to be on earth, all these calamities, newly created creatures, the day of the Lord is going to be like what a day of the Lord is to you. It's going to be like if you put your hand, running from I think it's a lion or a bear, put your hand in a scorpion sting, things that everyone that is not in Babylon the Great, that is not written to be saved, is going to die. And it's going to be crazy, because like as a wave is greater than a drop, and he said, like a field is, so is the seed. The point is in the 16, like as a wave is greater than a drop. So more people are going to perish. It's going to be like, nobody's getting, like everybody's dying. Everybody's dying. You're about to see, everybody's dying. And that's why this is why Ezra said this. This is 2 Ezra 15, chapter 14. Woe to the world and them that dwell in it, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one shall stand up and fight against another, swords in hand, and there shall be sedition among men, evading one another, and they shall not regard neither their kings nor princes, and of course their actions shall stand in their power, and a man shall desire to go in the city and shall not be able. So it's gonna just be craziness. You're not gonna be able to do anything. A time that was never before, even a time as Jacob's trouble. This is gonna be post-apocalyptic world. You don't even think, oh no, you don't have to have this C-hip, or you're gonna have to go do certain situations, and then you don't even want to go in the city. I was watching a documentary. Just if a pandemic would happen, 3 weeks, it would die. When shit hits the fan, and then they also have a turn. Shit rolls downhill. Stuff gets exponentially bad. It just starts getting worse and worse, getting more traction, more speed. Because of their pride of the city shall be trouble, and the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. Well, this is 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 18. And if the righteous, which is the Lord's elect, scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear? So if they're barely saved, they're going to be like, ooh, Lord, what the hell are you think going to happen if you wicked? Are you nations? That's why I said, let every man go to his nation. You better off just leaving the hell out of here and just be hoping that you get hoping you don't get a powerful slave owner of one of us, because you guys are going into slavery, at least for 1,000 years. It's going to be bad. To desire a city. Like, so what are we going to do? For this second, Ezra chapter 16, verse 4. O my people, hear my words. Make ye ready for the battle. And even those evil be even as pilgrims upon the earth. And multiple of those pilgrims, if you look in the word, as someone seeking, they'll see miracles and go to a religious, like, holy place. They're seeing signs and stuff, moving for religious. Going to be during the elements, trusting on the Lord completely. So this is Hebrews chapter 11, verse 7. And so how we are going to do that? By faith, Noah, being warned of God of the things not seen as yet, moved with fear, prepared an ark to saving of his house. So that's what we're doing. When we know that it's coming, we move with fear. We're preaching and help building this temple. But the Lord put the Spirit on us. Lord willing, I'm of that. By which he condemned the world, and because of the heir of righteousness, which is by faith. By faith, Abraham, when he was called to go into a place which he should after receive for inheritance, obeyed, and he went out, and not knowing whither he went. This is faith. So faith is a gift, yet not seen. So the Lord is faith. So that's how you know that if you might be a part of that. But by faith, sojourning the land a promise as a strange country, dwelt in the tabernacle with Isaac and Jacob, and heired with him of the same promise. Salakia. I'm looking for a point. Damn, right there. These all die in faith, not having received the promise, but have seen them afar off. This is the 7,000 that have not bowed to the man. That the complete number, if you're looking for the complete of a number. They have did this for generations and generations. They always did the same thing. I have formed you in the belly. And when pursued them, embraced them, and confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims on the earth. Always looking for that Yahweh Bashimi outside. Always. I'm gonna end it off with this. This is a couple one. Actually, I'm gonna do one more. Let me see, and then I'm gonna end it off. And so you see this, Esau is scared. You see what they're doing. They're setting up. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 71. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord, the ones that have. But it's going to be some martyrs, and they're going to be put up. I mean, they'll come back when Yahweh Shai gets back first. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Some shall be in jail for 10 days. Or I mean, a complete amount of days, or for some time. Not knowing, or not really knowing. We prophesy in part. Hear, O ye beloved. So casting out there, and then shall they be known who are my chosen. So the only how we're going to really know who's the elect is after this start happening. Then shall they be known, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. Hear, ye my beloved, said the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. So, and if we do this, and we have all this situation, and we go, then we might have a good chance that we might. Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the earth to try them that dwell upon the earth. So endure that. If we endure it, he's going to keep us from this stuff. And we're going to always be delivered out of the situation. That's how they're going to be known. It's like, how are they alive? They're eating and they're having. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast. I will Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem Rakakwadash, the water.